In every era, power moves, from one empire to another, from one continent to the next. Once it was Rome, then Britain, then America, and now, the world's focus is shifting east, toward Asia, China, Japan, South Korea. They dominate headlines, but quietly, another nation is rising, not through dominance or fear, but through resilience, creativity, and connection. This is the story the world keeps overlooking, the role of the Philippines in the next great global power shift. Before we begin, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because what you're about to hear might just change how you see the future of power. The 21st century is the Asian century. Trade, technology, and talent are flowing toward this side of the world, and sitting right at the heart of it all is the Philippines. Look at a map. The Philippines stands like a bridge between the Pacific and the South China Sea, two of the most vital trade routes on Earth. Every year, over $3 trillion worth of goods pass through these waters. Whoever helps keep them stable shapes the global economy itself. That's why global powers, the US, Japan, China, and even Europe, all want the Philippines on their side. For centuries, these islands have been the crossroads of trade and influence, but this time, they're not just a route through history, they're becoming the ones shaping it. The Philippines is no longer just the world's call center, it's transforming into something far greater. The nation's economy is one of the fastest growing in Asia. It's fueled not just by foreign investment, but by innovation, technology, and youth. Startups in Manila are solving global problems, from fintech to green energy. The Philippines is now producing world-class developers, animators, and digital creators who work with clients in New York, Dubai, and London, all from their laptops at home. It's a silent revolution, a generation using creativity, not conquest, to rise. And with massive foreign investments returning and industries shifting from manufacturing to digital services, the Philippines is quietly positioning itself as the human engine of the new digital economy. Military might isn't just about weapons, it's about position, and the Philippines holds one of the most valuable positions on Earth. As tensions rise in the South China Sea, the world looks to one question: who will keep the peace? That's where the Philippines steps in. It's renewing defense alliances, modernizing its forces, and serving as a stabilizing force between the giants of Asia. History has shown, every major conflict in the Pacific involves these islands, and once again, they stand at the center of global attention, but this time, not as victims of war, but as guardians of peace in the Indo-Pacific. Power is nothing without people, and the Philippines has one of the most powerful populations in the world, 115 million strong, average age, just 25, that's energy, creativity, and potential waiting to explode, while other nations face aging populations and shrinking workforces. The Philippines has youth, and youth means future. From the nurses who power global healthcare, to the seafarers who move international trade, to the tech experts building the digital world, Filipinos are everywhere, powering progress quietly, but consistently. They don't just represent the Philippines, they are the Philippines, living proof that strength doesn't always need a spotlight. Not all power comes from politics, some power comes from how deeply you touch hearts, and if there's one country that has mastered that kind of influence, it's the Philippines, because true power isn't always about control, sometimes it's about connection. When you hear the sound of a Filipino song, it's not just melody, it's memory. When you taste adobo or sinigang, it's not just food, it's family. And when you meet a Filipino abroad, it's not just a greeting, it's a warmth that feels like home. Through music, food, art, and kindness, Filipino culture has quietly crossed oceans. It doesn't conquer, it comforts. It doesn't demand attention, it earns admiration. From Bahay Kubo to Broadway stages, from small-town karaoke nights to international competitions, from humble street vendors to world champions, Filipino joy has become one of the country's greatest exports. And the secret? It's authenticity. It's the ability to smile even when times are hard, to create beauty even when there's chaos, to make strangers feel like family, even if they've just met you. This is soft power, the influence that doesn't intimidate, but inspires. The kind that turns small islands into global symbols of hope. The kind that reminds the world that kindness is not weakness, it's strength in its purest form. Because while other nations build walls, the Philippines builds bridges, soul to soul, and in a world growing colder and more divided, that kind of power may be the most important of all. But the strength of the Philippines doesn't stop at its people. Beneath its soil lies another kind of power, one that could shape the future of the planet itself. Nickel, copper, gold, hidden treasures that fuel the technologies of tomorrow. The smartphones in our hands, the electric cars on our roads, the batteries that power our future, they all depend on resources found in Philippine land. As the world races toward renewable energy and clean technology, the Philippines stands quietly at the center of a new revolution. From the mining towns of Mindanao to the ports of Luzon, the country holds the keys to a greener, more sustainable world. And while global giants compete for dominance in technology, the Philippines holds something far rarer: potential. A chance to become not just a supplier of minerals, but a leader in ethical, sustainable energy. Because real power isn't in what you take from the earth. It's in how you use it to build a better future for everyone. And that's where the Philippines can shine. Not as a land of exploitation, but as a land of innovation. Not just a provider of resources, but a protector of them. This is more than economics. It's the power to shape the planet's destiny. For generations, the Philippines has been underestimated, often seen as the underdog, a developing nation just trying to catch up. But that narrative is changing, fast, because every storm that tried to break this nation only made it stronger. Every challenge that pushed it down taught it how to rise higher. Beneath the struggles, corruption, poverty, disasters, lies something unbreakable: the will to rise. And right now that rise is happening in real time. You see it in the young entrepreneurs turning ideas into companies, in the artists taking Filipino stories to global stages, in the overseas workers proving that no distance is too far for love. A new generation is rewriting the country's story. One that's bold, proud, and unstoppable. The Philippines is no longer just following the world's lead, it's beginning to shape it. And soon, the world will have no choice but to see what Filipinos have known all along: that greatness doesn't always come from power or wealth. Sometimes, it comes from perseverance and heart, because this nation's story isn't about what it's lost, it's about everything it's becoming. The question isn't if the Philippines will rise, it's when the world will finally notice that it already has. The world once called it small, now it calls it essential. The Philippines doesn't need to roar to prove its strength, because real power doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it heals, sometimes it simply shows up, and changes the world without asking for permission. For decades, others defined what power looked like. They measured it in armies, skyscrapers, and wealth. But the Philippines reminds us that true power is something deeper: the ability to inspire, to connect, and to rise again, no matter how many times you fall. From the quiet resilience of its people, to the richness beneath its soil, and the culture that warms every corner of the world, the Philippines stands not as a follower, but as a force quietly shaping the future. So the next time you look at the map of Asia, remember this: right there, in the heart of it all, lies a nation that the world once overlooked, but can no longer ignore. Because the Philippines is no longer just surviving, it's rising, and with it, a new kind of global power is being born. This is the Philippines and the next global power shift. If this story moved you, don't just watch, be part of it. Share this message, subscribe for more stories like this, and let the world hear what you believe in. Because this isn't just a story about one country, it's a story about strength and humility, hope and struggle, and a quiet spirit powerful enough to move the world forward.